Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is AR Movie Memos, and we are about to get into the latest review of It, Welcome to Derry, episode 2, titled The Thing in the Dark. This week's episode starts off with the police investigating and harassing Ronnie's father, Hank, whom they believe is to blame for the murders and the disappearance of the kids from last episode. We see Ronnie eavesdropping on the conversation between her father and her grandmother about the police harassing them, trying to intimidate them, and trying to pin the murder on them. And then Ronnie's father tells Ronnie that there's nothing to worry about. Next, we are introduced to Leroy's wife, Charlotte, and his son, Will, who finally arrived in the town and moved into the house that they got. In the next scene, we cut to the kids returning to school on Monday. We see Marge with her friends, or so-called friends of the mean girls, gossiping and talking about people at the school, and then they see Ronnie arriving back to school on Monday after the disappearance and the murders of the kids in the previous episode. Then we cut to the classroom where Marge is trying to talk to Lily, and we learned that she hasn't really had any interactions or haven't talked to her since the murders occurred. And Marge tries to talk to Lily about the theater incident, but is only worried about the perception of Lily interacting with Ronnie with the Patties and her gang. Lily dismisses Marge and tells her that she doesn't care about Patty and her group and what they think about her. And in the same classroom sequence, we are introduced to Will again, coming late to the class, being chastised by his teacher about being late. And as he is about to sit down, his chair is pulled up under him, and as he's being bullied by the other kids in class, he does make a new friend that we are going to see later. Next, we see Leroy talking to his superiors about the incident that happened in his bunker. And they tell him that they have the culprits that are responsible for what happened, but Leroy thinks different about the situation. Then we meet Charlotte, Leroy's wife again. We see her walking around town, and she's going to go to the local meat market to get something for dinner. And as Charlotte is in the shop, she noticed a young boy getting chased by 3 other young boys. Charlotte rushes outside and she protects the young boy who is getting attacked by the other 3. And as she breaks up the fight, the other 3 stare her down on the corner, but she is received with disapproving looks from the other adults that are within the area. And Charlotte herself is confused about the situation that has just happened. Next, we see Leroy and his family having dinner, and we somewhat learned about maybe some of the reasons why they had to move and why Leroy took the job in Derry. Then later, we see Ronnie at home in bed, and she has a very unpleasant and terrifying experience by Pennywise. Pennywise is in disguise as Ronnie's deceased mother, and then in this terrifying and gruesome sequence, we learned that Ronnie's mother died by giving childbirth to her. And I would say early on, so far, just within the first 2 episodes, this is probably one of the more effective and traumatizing dream sequences or hallucinations, whatever you want to call it, that Pennywise is doing to the kids, warping reality. I thought this was a really creative storytelling aspect and just something creatively, visually different to do. And in our next scene, we see the locals trying to put pressure on the police captain, since there hasn't been nobody charged with the murders of the kids at the movie theater. And in the same scene, we are reintroduced to Dick Halloran, one of the military people that we saw in the first episode. He's with two other of his comrades enjoying some drinks, but then they soon leave after the tension builds within the bar. And as Halloran and his comrades leave, they go to another spot to get intoxicated and just to have a good night out. They go back to base, and then we learn that Dick Halloran is more of an important character than we are perceived to first see, especially with his comrades asking him what does he do when he's out and about and the missions that he is on, and he just tells them that he's on a special mission, and they laugh it off and they don't believe him until they are going back to base and they get the clearance to go back in without being reprimanded. That following morning, we see the army searching through the woods in Derry for something which we don't know, but they are digging in different sites, coming up with nothing, and one of Halloran's superiors is upset with him, thinking that they're wasting time and thinking that with whatever special abilities he may have, that he's just using them to have special treatment. But Halloran tells him that they are close to whatever they are finding. And then also across the way, we see some Native Americans looking over, seeing what the military is doing. Later, we see Ronnie talking to Lily in the school cafeteria about the visions that she had the previous night. They have a discussion back and forth about why Lily didn't tell the police about what she saw, because due to this, Ronnie's father is still the prime suspect, and they're trying to look for any reason to lock him up. We learn about the dilemma that Lily is in, because if she does tell the truth, she is afraid that she's going to be locked back at the psychiatric ward that she was in. But if she says nothing, Ronnie's father is going to take the fall for what happened. Then later we see Leroy's son Will having difficulty adjusting, but he makes friends with one of his classmates named Rich. And then also, because of an incident that happened in the hallway, which he got blamed for, he was sentenced to detention, is where he ran into Ronnie, as she got detention earlier for an outburst and for using profanity in the cafeteria. This was one of the more genuine moments throughout this episode, and it was also nice seeing some of the character development that they have with Will, and him having his appreciation for science, and also showing the difference between him and his father, like they did earlier within the episode when his father got him his telescope. But this moment is somewhat cut short due to when they are looking out the window and they see Lily getting picked up by the police at the school. We then see Lily with the police captain asking him about the night at the movie theater again. And in this scene, we see the police captain putting pressure on young Lily to lie and to put Ronnie's father at the theater that night, even though Lily doesn't want to, but she is afraid of going back to the psychiatric facility. And unfortunately, Lily cracks under the pressure, and in the next scene, we see Ronnie's father being arrested by the police, and Ronnie and her grandmother is upset and devastated by what happened. Soon after, we see Ronnie running to Lily's house, banging on the door, upset and frantic, telling her what happened to her father and wanting to know what she told the police. Next, we see Leroy confronting Masters in the military holding facility, knowing that he is not the one that orchestrated or was even involved in the attack. Leroy put him through a test with one of the Soviet Union firearms that he had. Realizing that Masters wasn't the one there, Masters was cleared as one of the attackers. Then later, General Shaw tells Leroy that he orchestrated the attack to test his fear and tells him only he can recover a weapon that inspires fear in everyone. Next, we see Lily going to the grocery store for her mother, where she has another vision, and she is attacked by Pennywise again, only this time the vision is of her father in the incident that we learned about in the first episode at the manufacturing company that he worked at. She has a public breakdown within the supermarket, and then soon after, Lily is returned to Jupiter Hill, the psychiatric facility that she was at before. And before the episode ends, we see the army back at the dig site that they were at earlier. The army finds a car full of corpses that was buried, and with the episode closing out saying, "We are close." Now, after watching this episode, I thoroughly enjoyed episode 2 more than episode 1. I enjoyed a lot of the one-on-one conversations that we did have, seeing the character dynamic between characters, and just seeing a lot of the groundwork being built from the last episode translating on into this episode, especially seeing the relationship with the kids as compared to the Losers Club with the kids in the first 2 movies versus seeing the kids in the show. Especially in this episode, that you see that the dilemma is with the characters of Ronnie and that Lily are in, with Ronnie is trying to protect her father from not going to jail or going to be charged with a crime that he didn't do, versus with Lily not wanting to go back to the psychiatric facility. But at the end of the episode, unfortunately, her father was still arrested, and Lily still ended up back at the facility that she was afraid to go back to. And watching them and seeing their performances is really heart-wrenching, especially because you feel bad for both of them and you understand where they both are coming from. And I like the new characters that they introduced within this episode, with Will, with Charlotte, and even also with the police captain. And for this episode, I feel like the standout of the episode was Lily and Ronnie, just with their performances and just seeing the dynamic between those two, but also with the set pieces that they were in with Pennywise, and terrorized by him and reliving a lot of the trauma that they had to relive from previous life experience, but also just with the creativity that they had with both of the sequences, especially with the sequence with Ronnie in the bedroom with her deceased mother, but also with Lily in the grocery store with the maze that they use of the labyrinth, with her going in and out of each aisle, and then it turning it into a nightmare scenario with reliving seeing what happened to her father. But overall, I thought this was a great episode, a good follow-up to episode 1, and I am excited to see what's going to happen in episode 3. And let me know how you guys felt about this episode. If you liked it, disliked it, or just tell me what your thoughts were. Just leave it down in the comment section. And once again, thank you guys again for listening to my review. If you guys like what I'm doing here on the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That way you can keep up to date with not just the It episodes for It, Welcome to Derry, but also for the other content that we have on the page for movies, television shows, and any type of entertainment news dealing with movies and shows. And once again, thank you for listening to this review. This is episode 2 of It, Welcome to Derry. And I will see you guys next week when episode 3 is uploaded.